Now on CoastTV News.
Remembering a hero, Delaware firefighters paying their respects after one of their own was tragically killed on the job. Cape classroom choices, the school district making some important decisions. Four-wheeled fun, Jeeps bumping and jumping through the sand down in Ocean City. And the history of vote by mail. It's a modern day topic, but it's been around so long the Smithsonian now has an exhibit celebrating it.
And we've been celebrating the fall-like conditions for all week long, and we're going to continue to dip below the norm for this time of the year tomorrow. But guess what? The warm-up is just around the corner.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
A fallen hero, Delmarva honoring Thomas Willson Berry III. Good evening, I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 11. We begin tonight with hundreds of friends, family, and colleagues showing up to pay their respects at the Crossroads Community Church. A lengthy procession of more than 80 emergency units escorted Berry's casket from the church to the places that he served: the Georgetown Fire Company, Sussex County EMS, and the Ellendale Fire Company. Berry answered the final alarm at the Ellendale Cemetery. Berry lost his life while trying to help save somebody else. Today, those that knew him best shared fond memories and honored the man they all knew and viewed as a hero. It was clear by the turnout the sort of lasting impact that Berry had on Georgetown and the Ellendale Fire Companies, as well as Sussex County EMS, a stark reminder of just what the bravest members of our society do day in, day out to keep this community safe.
Every first responder knows that that's a risk. And every time you put the uniform on, every time you respond to a call, you recognize that there's a risk associated with doing that. He gave his life doing that, and he is and will forever be a hero.
Thomas Berry was Ellendale's Firefighter of the Year in 2022, and based on the reactions of those at the funeral today, he was loved and he was admired. New at 11, the Cape Henlopen School District making some important decisions tonight. The Board of Education moving two key proposals forward. The first will allow for a 24 classroom expansion and athletic facility renovation. Those don't come cheap, though. The estimate for the project is just under $69 million. 60% would come from the state, 40% would come from local bonds. The second proposal, and this part may sound familiar to those that followed our referendum stories, it is for the purchase of 103 acres along Cedar Grove Road. The land will be earmarked for new district offices, bus maintenance facility, and a swimming complex. No state money would go towards this plan. It will be entirely locally funded, which could be more than $80 million.
The Milton, Lewis, and Rehoboth, lands just being soaked up so fast for development. They're going to have to move at a fairly decent speed, to actually secure something that will allow this district to grow.
Now, this is not a done deal. Next, the plans will go to the Department of Education, and depending on what they do with it, it could come back to the board after that. Let's go ahead and take a look outside into Lewis. Our first alert chief meteorologist Paul Williams joins us now. And Paul, it has been unseasonably cool for this time of year.
And not only that, Charlie, but we've been flirting with trying to tie a record low. Today was one of those examples. Right now, though, we're not quite so cool, but we're going to get there before the night is done. 64 degrees for us in Lewis. This is courtesy of our Irish Eyes pub and restaurant camera, with the winds pushing out to the north. But notice the winds are calm. Clear skies, calm winds. That's usually a recipe for much cooler conditions overnight. Listen, we actually dropped down to 51 degrees in Georgetown. That was only one away from tying the record, which was set in 1949. 50 for us in Salisbury, 50 for the low in Ocean City, and 54 degrees Wallops Island. We have high pressure that's in control of our weather for right now, so we're going to continue to stay clear, although we have some cloud cover that's actually thickening to our south. Coming up, we're going to talk about why has it been so cool, and will that pattern continue to kick in, Charlie?
New photos tonight from a fire that happened Wednesday in Madison. Take a look at these. Just around noon, volunteers from the Rescue Fire Company of Cambridge were called to assist Madison Volunteer Fire with a home fire on Taylor's Island Road. You can see how much damage was caused by what ultimately turned into a 2-alarm fire. No word yet on the cost of that damage. New crime statistics are out tonight. Laurel Police Department has released their July crime report. A few highlights from the month: 64 total arrests, 16 violent crimes, 111 property crimes, 52 traffic collisions, and 9 DUI arrests. To all the Jeep lovers out there, you're gonna want to hear this, Jeeps. We're all lined up outside the Convention Center in Ocean City, Maryland for the popular annual Jeep Fest. The 4-day event features Jeep displays, vendors, music, and some good vibes. Along with events and competitions or on the beach for everybody to enjoy, Jeep Rubicon owner Eric Humphreys says it's all about bringing the family together and meeting new people.
Hey, I love it. Me, my family, the dogs, and see we got a whole group of people over here. We bring everybody out. Something we all just brings the family together. My son owns a Jeep. I bought him up for Christmas. That's how I ended up with this. I love showing it off and talking to the people and meeting new people, man. You meet a lot of friends, a lot of family. Good times.
You feel the energy there. I like that. Jeep Fest kicked things off earlier this morning, and the fun is going to continue all the way until Sunday afternoon with events scheduled all throughout the day. This brings us right into our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what do you look forward to the most when it comes to Jeep Fest? Let's go ahead and take a look at the updated results from earlier this evening. Take a gander there, see which one of these options you like the most. And here's the thing that you're going to be able to do if you want to vote on this. Just go to coasttv.com, and then you could also use our Coast TV mobile app. That's always a great way to stay connected to what's going on with all of our polls. The countdown to the election is on. For some voters, they're going to be voting by mail. During COVID in 2020, 45% of voters told Pew Research that they sent their picks in through the Postal Service. But it turns out that is not something that began with the COVID pandemic. Rather, it dates all the way back to the Civil War. Smithsonian's National Postal Museum has an exhibit opening this weekend, and that exhibit showcases the history of mail-in voting. Over time, it's been used to help soldiers at war cast ballots, and even first families like the Coolidges filling out the absentee ballots at the White House.
Well, voting is such a fundamental part of being a citizen in our democracy, and everyone has a different life situation. Whether you're stationed in Europe during a war, or you're, disabled and living and at home and can't get to a polling place, voting by mail is just an option. You can, it's one of the many options available for us to exercise, our rights as citizens to vote.
And abortion rights, that remains a big driver of voter sentiment in the upcoming election. But today in Arkansas, their state Supreme Court ruled that an amendment to the state constitution will not be on the ballot. The court ruled that the group's Arkansas for Limited Government failed to meet the guidelines for submitting documentation that paid canvassers had been trained on state election law. What this ruling means is signatures gathered by those paid canvassers, they will not be considered for the total needed for the measure to be placed on the ballot. There appears to be a dispute over how those canvassers, which need to be accounted for, were or were not submitted to the state. The court was divided on this 4-3. In the dissenting opinion from Justin Karen Baker, she says the Secretary of State seems to be following different protocols for different measures across the board. A first of its kind performing and cultural arts center could be coming to Lewis or Rehoboth Beach. ClearSpace, the theater company, is conducting a market study. This is to determine where the facility will be located and what it should have to meet the community needs. The company presented a letter to the Lewis mayor and city council this morning and said it's picking a site in Lewis or Rehoboth based on where its audiences are located. The study will run for 3 months. ClearSpace plans to make a site selection by the end of the year. We have more news to get into this evening. Pet Protection, the animal clinic offering vaccines and more, will tell you where you can go. And Swift breaks the silence. The pop star posting about her canceled shows and the fear that came with them.
Here's a look at your Bay forecast. We're starting to warm back up ever so slightly and subtly back to our summer pattern. Up to 84 degrees on Sunday for Cambridge, and up to 81 degrees with sunshine in Crisfield. We'll have more on your full forecast coming up in just 60 seconds.
Hi, I'm Joel Wharton, Sussex County farmer. Don't wait until after harvest to plant your cover crops. Consider broadcasting or interseeding cover crops into your standing cash crop. Early establishment provides more growth potential and more soil armor over winter. It also saves time because after harvest, the cover crop is already growing and protecting the soil, cycling nutrients, and preventing erosion. To learn more about the benefits and ways to establish cover crops early, contact the Sussex Conservation District because every acre counts.
It's the Chevy Summer Drive at I.G. Burton Chevrolet. Right now, take home a Silverado with up to $10,000 off, or get 1.9% financing with no payments up to 90 days. Plus, discover huge savings and great lease payments across our entire lineup, like $249 a month on the Chevy Trax or $299 a month on the Equinox. Details at igburton.com or any I.G. Burton Chevrolet location in Melford, Seaford, Lewis, or Berlin. Nobody beats a Burton deal. Nobody.
Clear skies have worked in our favor for beautiful sunshine during the daytime hours. However, at night, thanks to the light winds and the clear skies, we've been dealing with some radiational cooling. Well, what does that mean in regular people speak? We'll get to that in just a moment. So, we're clear now with our live radar, and we are going to stay clear for tonight. Now, why am I mentioning radiational cooling? Not a word you typically would say, at the kitchen table. Well, you notice we dipped down to 51 degrees today, and 50 is the record low, which was set in 1949. This has actually been the pattern for the last couple of days in a row, thanks to radiational cooling. You see, in Georgetown, yesterday we got down to 53 degrees, which is really impressive because we hadn't been there since 2004. Today, 1949, the record of 50 degrees was set, and we dipped down to 51. 67 is the norm for this time of the year. So let's talk about this date. 1949 on this date, we got down to 50 degrees. Now, August coolest average is about 56 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the lowest August temperature reading was 42 degrees Fahrenheit, and that was set two different times, in late August, 1976 and 1986. Some of the other low temperatures in our neck of the woods, of course, reminding you, Georgetown, we dripped down to 48 in Delmar, 49 in some other areas. Why is it so chilly? Well, here's what happens. Solar radiation heats the ground during the day. Then what happens at night, the heat escapes back towards space, and then the cloud cover actually acts like a blanket so that the clouds can re-emit some of that heat back to the surface. Well, what we've had going on is clear skies. On a clear night, the radiation escapes into space, creating cooler conditions and lower temps. Now, we're starting to feel that again for tonight as well. Light winds, and look at this. We're already at 58 degrees in Redden. We're at 64 in Lewis and in Milford. And overnight lows are expected to once again dip right back into the 50s once again. So we're going to do like that old line from the movie, play it again, Sam. So, futurecast, Friday by noon, we're still looking very clear with temperatures approaching the 80-degree mark. We're going to stay right around there for the afternoon. Saturday, we're going to see around noontime back into the 80s, but notice how clear it is. Not a cloud dancing around that would be of any significance for us. Even as we're going to Saturday evening, we stay clear with temperatures slipping into the 60s. Finally, here's a look at your Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling Extended Forecast. Now, here's the catch. I want you to notice that we're going to drop to 57 degrees and 59 for at least 2 more days. So that fall feel will stay in the air for at least Friday going to Saturday, Saturday going to Sunday morning. Next week, we're back into that summer swing of things. 86 on Monday and Tuesday. Then we jump to 89 on Wednesday and 90 on Thursday. And we'll have temperatures in the 60s. Charlie?
Paul in Casablanca, one of my favorites. Fraud in Fenwick Island, it's a scam that almost worked. As CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappé explains, an identity thief nearly put together a deal for a plot of land on Maryland Avenue, but it was thwarted late in the game. Listen to the details so this doesn't happen to you.
This property in Fenwick Island was almost sold this year. The only problem? The actual owner of the land had no idea. This house of cards all came crashing down once an actual buyer was interested, and the realtor, who thought they were representing the real owner, sent the deal along to the law firm Ward & Taylor. That's when Ashley Miller, a real estate paralegal for the firm, spotted the problem.
When I asked him to verify his mailing address associated with the county, he was unable to provide it. He was kind of giving me the runaround and then eventually hung up on me. And that's obviously probably the biggest red flag of all.
Eventually, the authorities got involved. Fenwick Island Police sent out a warning this week to all property owners that an identity theft scam is going around town.
It's not uncommon in Sussex County at all. A lot of offices get hit with it. We've heard some horror stories. So it's pretty prevalent, especially in Sussex County. Luckily, in this case, Miller was able to recognize the scam. She then found the real owner's contact information, contacted them, and confirmed the land was actually not for sale. As for the suspect, Police Chief Michael Morrissey says they don't have a name, they don't have any leads, but they do believe it was someone from out of state, possibly in the Midwest.
This can happen if you own unimproved property here in town, because you're not raising red flags when you're walking on a property and you're looking at it and you make an offer on it if you see it's for sale, as opposed to a house where you actually have to go in and look at it and whatnot.
Property owners are not the only people that have to look out for any scams. Megan Hudson, an attorney at Ward & Taylor, says buyers have to keep an eye out too.
If you're a buyer and looking to put in an offer on a property and the value, it seems too good to be true, likely that's the case.
Chief Morrissey hopes that by spreading the word out in Fenwick Island, that people will be more aware on if their property is being sold illegally. I'm Kevin Zappé in Fenwick Island, CoastTV News.
A Kent County man is facing charges for home improvement fraud after 3 investigations in Sussex County. Jeremy Bowen of Delmarva Landscaping Solutions and Shoreline Escapes was supposed to install a pool for a Georgetown man, a pool for an Ocean View woman, and a fence for a Frankfurt man. Delaware State Police says in all cases, Bowen accepted payment and the work was not completed. Only one person was partially reimbursed. Troopers say Bowen turned himself in and was released after posting $11,000 in bond. Keeping it 100, a big celebration plan for the oldest living American president. We're going to tell you how Jimmy Carter is ringing in 100 years. And next, a little give, a little take. The Supreme Court blocking some parts of an Arizona voting law while leaving other pieces in place.
Marty Rendon is ready. Building on his legislative work in Congress and UNICEF, Marty chairs the Legislative Committee of our Delaware Human and Civil Rights Commission, and he knows how to unpack the issues that matter most to you: traffic, healthcare, education, overdevelopment, and more. Marty's ready to fight for his neighbors in the greater Lewis, Rehoboth, and Dewey Beach communities.
The only baggage I carry is yours.
Vote Marty Rendon on September 10th.
Welcome to First State Chevrolet, your local hometown dealer in the heart of Sussex County on Route 113 in Georgetown.
This month, save $7,000 on this 2024 Chevrolet Silverado.
Save up to $3,000 on this 2024 Chevy Blazer. We have a great selection of pre-owned vehicles here at First State Chevy, and we're still looking for more. We will pay you top dollar for your car or truck.
Stop in or find us on the web at firststatechevy.com.
We are First State Chevy in Georgetown, where we put you, the customer, first. Together, let's drive.
The American black duck is an iconic species, well known throughout the Delmarva Peninsula. Although the population is currently stable, they're well below their population goals and they're considered a species of concern. The USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service looks to increase and restore black duck habitat throughout the Delmarva Peninsula.
I utilize the Working Lands for Wildlife program to help transform a low-lying wet area into waterfowl habitat.
To learn more about the Working Lands for Wildlife program, contact your local USDA Service Center.
Right now, during the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Gateway Subaru, we're offering incredible savings. Save up to $3,000 on a new 2024 Subaru Outback. Plus, take advantage of great financing rates as low as 0% for 48 months. Feel the thrill and save up to $2,400 off a new 2024 Subaru Crosstrek with financing rates as low as 2.9% for 48 months. And stop by to discover the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester. Gateway Subaru, just minutes from the beaches in the heart of Delmarva. Higher standards.
NBC News Daily, weekdays at 1 on CoastTV.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
The Supreme Court has blocked some of Arizona's proof of citizenship requirements for this November's election. On Thursday, the High Court declined to revive parts of a Republican-backed Arizona law that could have barred thousands of voters from casting a ballot or voting by mail. The justices did, though, leave in place and leave in hold against part of the law that required voters to document their U.S. citizenship to vote in this year's presidential election. However, the court allowed the state to enforce other proof of citizenship requirements that'll make it harder for voters to register for state and local elections. Proof of citizenship will be required for new voters using a state voter registration form. Former President Jimmy Carter getting a star-studded centennial birthday party. The oldest living American president will turn 100 on October 1st. The Carter Center says it's going to host a birthday bash in Atlanta's historic Fox Theater. That's going to happen on September 17th. Musical acts include country artist Eric Church, drive-by truckers, and more. The whole event will also feature appearances by actor Sean Penn and Atlanta Braves legend Dale Murphy. The tickets are going to cost $100. That's in honor of Carter's 100th birthday, and the proceeds from that event, those will support the Carter Center. Mortgage rates, they edged lower this week to the lowest level in more than a year. Mortgage finance giant Freddie Mac reporting the standard 30-year fixed-rate mortgage averaged 6.46% this week. That is down slightly from last week's average of 6.49%, but the lowest level since May 2023. Still to come in sports, DSN visits Commanders camp tomorrow, but Washington is going to be without a former first-round pick. More on that coming up with DSN, and still to come, constantly consuming. The newest research on social media usage, specifically when it comes to teenagers.
And as you take a look at your golf forecast, tomorrow is going to be another fall-like day with gorgeous sunshine, high of only 78 degrees, so terrific conditions, sunny and pleasant.
Take your favorite radio station with you wherever you go. Download free today.
The bold, creamy smoothness of Hardee's new cold brew coffee with the made-from-scratch goodness of Hardee's famous breakfast. A delicious new way to power your morning. Hardee's, goodness in the making.
Chevy lets you begin every day fully charged, so you can go farther. And so can your money. Tow with confidence. Plus, stay connected with available OnStar technology. For summer adventures, Chevy's got you. Get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Trailblazer models. Or get $500 total cash allowance on this Trailblazer. See your Delmarva Chevy dealers.
In Delaware, a family earning $67,000 a year pays the same tax rate as one making $67 million. I'm Matt Meyer, and you don't have to be a former math teacher to know that's an outrage. As governor, I'll make the super wealthy pay more in taxes so working people can pay less. By making state taxes more fair, we'll help more families get ahead. It's not just smart math, it's the right thing to do.
Democrat Matt Meyer for governor.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series, gas, hybrid, or all-electric. These are the deals you've been waiting for. So don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Make it 0% APR financing. Make it a zero down payment and make it no payments for 90 days on select Ford trucks.
So here's my back to school haul. Backpack from Cali, kicks from Luz, accessories by me, and new fast internet from Extreme. Our basic internet was not going to cut it. See you in class.
Go back to school with best in fast internet and Wi-Fi from Extreme. Save on speed from 250 meg up to 1 gig, including whole home Wi-Fi with advanced online security and parental controls. Packages start at $19.99 a month for a year. Call 844-EXTREME2 for details.
The greatest meal deal for your buck? Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Loaded with your choice of 2 full-size favorites, plus fries and a drink. All for just $6.99. Hardee's, goodness in the making.
Good news for pet owners. Humane Animal Partners is hosting 4 low-cost vaccine clinics. Pets can get dewormed, microchipped, rabies vaccinations, and more. Get your calendars out because the first one here in downstate is Saturday, August 24th at 9 a.m. That's at the HAP Center in Rehoboth Beach at Midway. It is first come, first serve. In traffic news, a Seaford Road That's set to close next week. DelDOT says Beagle Club Road will be closed between Main Street and Woodland Ferry Road. This is for the installation of a crossroad pipe. It starts Tuesday, August 27th. It's going to stay closed through September 5th. Speaking of closures, the Bridgeville Public Library says it's closed today, Friday, and Saturday. Parking lot improvements that are being made right now. That's why it's closed. Taylor Swift posted her first public comments after canceling shows in Vienna after authorities uncovered a plot to attack crowds at one of her shows. The pop star wrote in part that she was filled with a, quote, new sense of fear and, quote, tremendous amounts of guilt, unquote. This after being forced to make the difficult decision. Swift also explains why she hasn't commented until now, saying, quote, in cases like this one, silence is actually showing restraint and waiting to express yourself at the right time when it's right to. My priority was finishing our European tour safely. She also thanked officials in Vienna, saying, thanks to them, we're grieving concerts and not lives. After performing several shows in London, Swift's Era Tour is now on a break before returning to the U.S. in October. Social media is all around us, and when it comes to young people, that can be good or bad. A 2022 survey conducted by the Pew Research Center found 95% of teens aged 13 to 17 used YouTube, and more than a third say they were on YouTube and other social media platforms like TikTok almost constantly. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on why teens are so drawn to these apps and what parents can do to keep them safe.
It can be both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, social media can connect teens with similar interests and help them establish their identities. But there's also a downside.
Keep in mind, teenagers really have not known a world without social media. For many of them, it is their entire world.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says teen brains are still developing, including that area responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and judgment.
That means teens are more primed to be easily gratified, to be on social media more often.
Since social media is designed to suck everyone in, adults included, and keep you there, stopping the scroll can be hard.
The algorithms are designed to feed the content that grabs your interest. The hearts and the likes then keep you engaged, and you're constantly looking for more.
To keep teens safe, the U.S. Surgeon General advises parents to create a family media plan with healthy technology boundaries. Keep tech-free zones to encourage children to foster in-person friendships. Model responsible social media behavior. Teach responsibility by explaining risks and benefits of using different apps, and explain reporting options when it comes to cyberbullying, online abuse, and exploitation.
Living without social media doesn't seem plausible nowadays, but living with it in a healthy way seems to be something we can all aim to do.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The concern about social media overuse by teens even prompted U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy to demand Congress put a warning label on apps, citing the threat that it poses to children.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Yeah, we're a week out from regular season football in Delaware, and the NFL isn't all that far behind. Tomorrow, we'll be making the trip to Commanders training camp for the first time as a network. Hear from Salisbury alum and head coach Dan Quinn, along with some of Washington's top stars, ahead of their preseason finale this coming Sunday. The Commanders are primed to start rookie Jaden Daniels under center to begin this season and look to improve from a 4-win year back in 2023. This year's Washington squad no longer has Jahan Dotson. The Commanders traded the 2022 first-round pick to the Eagles in exchange for a third-rounder and 2 seventh-round selections. Dotson caught 84 passes for over 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns in 2 seasons in Washington. The former Penn State wideout now accompanies A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith as the Eagles' wide receiver 3. He also joins Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in a high-powered offense ready to contend for a Super Bowl. And in Salisbury, Seagulls women's volleyball was picked to win the Coast to Coast Conference. SU won its first conference title since 2012 last year. The Gulls are aimed for their 3rd straight NCAA tournament berth. Salisbury opens the season against Catholic on August 30th. That it for sports. Have a great night, everybody.
And this brings us right back to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what do you look forward to most with Jeep Fest? Let's take a look at these updated results, see if they've moved around a little bit. I know which one gets my attention the most. It is that sand course, but you might be looking at the concerts, the beach crawl, Jeep vendors, or Jeep viewing. If you haven't voted yet, you can go to coasttv.com or use the mobile app. We'll be right back.
The UV Index Weather Report is sponsored by Ocean City Tourism. Somewhere to smile about.
Toyota's national sales event is on. Swipe into end of summer fun with a new Toyota. Like I never left.
Right now, get a new Tacoma SR5 with low 4.99 APR financing. Toyota, let's go places.
When MAGA extremists took away our rights, Kyle Evans-Gay took action.
Kyle fought for her daughters and ours in the state Senate, delivering the strongest abortion protections in Delaware history.
She took on the NRA to ban assault weapons and protect our communities.
Led on securing our vote and our democracy.
I'm Kyle Evans-Gay, and I'm running for lieutenant governor because a new generation will champion reproductive freedom and fight for our families. Let's do this, Delaware.
The excellence of driving a Buick is matched by the excellence of the dealership experience when you own a Buick. Buick, exceptional by design.
Sign and Drive is here. Get this ultra-low mileage lease on this 2024 Encore GX Preferred for around $343 per month with zero due at signing.
Feeling the summer sizzle? Is it turning your home into a sauna? At FH Fur, we know you can't wait when your AC is down for the count. That's why we're offering same-day service, guaranteed. If we don't make it to you the very same day, you will pay a diagnostic or dispatch fee, plain and simple. So whether your AC is blowing hot air, your thermostat is on the fritz, or your entire system needs replacing, an FH Fur expert technician will bring your comfort back today.
877-CALL-FUR, FHFur.com.
Rural communities are on the front lines of a changing climate. Farmers can implement climate-smart practices that improve soil health, nutrient management, and energy efficiency. These practices improve our profitability, resiliency, and help to open new markets.
We know voluntary conservation works and are committed to working with farmers and forest landowners to leverage resources to increase climate resiliency through conservation practices. To learn more about climate-smart practices, scan this QR code to find your local USDA service center.
Extend summer fun at Toyota's national sales event with a new Camry, RAV4 Hybrid, Highlander, BZ4X Tundra, Corolla Hybrid, Tacoma.
Buy a Tundra now with low 1.99 APR financing for 48 months. Toyota, let's go places.
Adult kickball is kicking off in Milford in a couple of weeks. The City Parks and Recreation Department is inviting players and teams to enroll in the 7-week league. You have to have at least 8 players to register and at least 3 women to play, so you can sign up individually to be a part of a team, or you can register online.
Our Bay Health camera in Milford, we're at 64 degrees with winds out of the south at about 5 miles per hour. We're going to slowly start warming up with that wind coming out of the south. We are staying clear, high pressure, and control of our weather. Our umbrella giveaway winner is actually Peter Collins of Selbyville. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling. Our UV index, sponsored by Ocean City, staying at an elevated level for the next few days in a row. And you can always keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. Finally, here's a look at our extended forecast.
Thank you, Paul. We appreciate that. And thank you for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. For more news, for more local weather, download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, is next. And we're going to see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have yourselves a great evening.